Great stories have the ability to manipulate and showcase emotions in such a perspective that you can't help but resonate with the writer or the characters themselves in the narrative. When I think about working in tech, I think the ultimate goal of any company really is to just be useful. You want to be able to identify a total addressable market, a TAM, in which you can find product market fit for a utility or a function that you create and you find a loyal customer base for that cannot live or operate without your utility. And if you can find that, I think then you can create a successful company. I think for storytelling in general, whether it's social media, books, but especially films, I think the difference between good and great films is if you're able to easily convey and clearly convey the perspective and what emotions you want the audience to feel. I think there's that saying that I talked about before, which is every story has already been written. And I think whether it's the anti-hero trope or the horror trope, or just a generic horror hero, sort of character arc, I think every story and every moral and value has been sort of talked about, or there's already been a movie that sort of showcases it in its purest form. But I think the difference between films that you just watch to learn something versus films in which you really feel something or learn something is you view the same emotions but from a completely different perspective. And that perspective might be one that is cultivated or personal to the author or to a specific character or producer or what have you of the film, that is able to convey their their position so well when it comes to the scenarios that they run into. And then you're able to feel those same emotions that we feel, that are universal among all of us. One of my favorite films of all time is Manchester by the Sea, and famously the ending isn't like very happy. It doesn't even end on a pretty positive note. It's really 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 raw and real. And I think honestly, just watching the film, there isn't really that much to learn, but the emotions of trauma, of loss, of guilt, regret are just so potent and so clearly visible in the film and felt. And I think that's what makes it great. And I think that's what makes any film or TV show great. I think The Sopranos and Wires are a great example of this, in which the cast isn't star-studded, but the emotions are just are felt with every single moment and aspect of the visual, whether it's the music or the blocking or the camera movement or even just the compositions themselves. It really conveys these simple emotions just so clearly.